So this week we are at a very windy, a very cold, which is very strange seeing it's been roasting the last few weeks, Penmon Lighthouse on the beautiful Isle of Anglesey. So we're here for sunrise, which is very strange for me. There is another photographer down there, so I'm going to be careful not to get in his way and annoy him by vlogging around him at this time of the morning. It's 5:30 now. Sunrise is at about 6:20. So we'll just go down, have a little mooch around. The tide's on the way out. I've checked the tide times. We have got a low tide at 8:30, so it is on the way out. And yeah, we'll go down, we'll have a little mooch around together. So we are nearing the lighthouse. I love this lighthouse, Penmon. Well, I haven't heard the chimes today, to be fair, but it normally has some really cool chimes going on as well. Looks like we've got a nice bit of colour in the sky. We've got these cool steps. I love these off the old walkway that used to be here. Oh, that's a cool shot, that. Just looking out. Might try and just snap one off now. There is another photographer here, a lady who's just back there. So she's going to start shooting from back there, so I'm going to have to be a bit conscious of where she is. I could actually drop down into the water itself. I think that's what I might do, actually. I'll take a shot from these steps now. As you can see, these awesome little supports from the old, I think it was an old walkway or something, or I don't know what it was, but it looks like there's one here, one there. So I think there was obviously some type of pontoon on there. But if we just make our way out to the edge, you will see the tide is going out. So I may, that's just beautiful, isn't it? Look at the colour of that sea. I may be able to get myself down there and use some of these rocks as foreground and try and frame it up. I'll put a shot on the screen now from a couple of years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago it was, when I came on a really, really miserable morning. It was raining all the way here. There was clouds all across the hills over there. And when I got here, well, this is what I got. Beautiful, different hues, pink hues, oranges, purples, absolutely gorgeous. So I'll just set up my camera for this pontoon shot, and then we'll try and get down into the water for a second. So as you can see, this is the quick composition of setup. Got these stones in the foreground, just leading us in a vertical comp up to the lighthouse. As I'll show you it on screen now. So as you can see, I've just got a bang centre. I'm doing about a 8-second exposure and up to a 15-second exposure, and that's giving me a nice exposure range that I can play with in post-processing. So I managed to get myself down to this little lower level just to stay out of the way of the other photographer, and that is what we're looking at. It's a beauty. So I don't know if you can see on the screen, I'll just put it on the screen now for you, the composition I'm looking at. I basically got it set up with this big rock in the left of frame. The lighthouse is just sitting to the left of centre, and then I've got the various other little rocks with the seaweed on just scattered around, but I've tried to use obviously a bit of symmetry, well not symmetry, well yeah, exposed symmetry. I've tried to match everything up on either side and just give a little bit of space on the edge of frame, and also the top of the lighthouse I'm giving a bit of space there because I don't like it too crowded, and I can crop it in Lightroom. So although it looks a little bit too wide and it looks a little bit busy around the edges around the sea, I'll tidy that up in Lightroom just by cropping in and just getting rid of any little straggly rocks on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of comps of this, and then because the tide is going out slowly, but it is going out, I'm going to start to tentatively move a little bit closer to the lighthouse, maybe round the corner of that big rock, and try and get the lighthouse and Puffin Island just in the composition as it is. I'll throw a vertical in on this one as well, just to capture it without the island on the right. I'm unsure about this island. Sometimes I like photographing it in with the lighthouse, and other times I like to crop it out. I think it looks a bit of an eyesore really as an island. Unpopular opinion probably, but that's how I feel. So I just prefer the lighthouse. I might set the lighthouse right of frame, and then just have, I mean there's not much colour or clouds in the sky on the right. In the sky there it's empty, but we can have a mess around with DA's tool and play around with that. Just like to add as well, side note, I am using a couple of filters on this because the sea is choppy. I want to smooth the sea out and get it nice and glass-like, so I'm using a 15-second exposure at the minute, and I'm getting that by dropping in a 3-stop ND filter and a 3-stop ND grad for the sky, and that's balancing everything out really nice. And I'm using the polarizer just to take any sheen off the water, but then I'm pulling in a little bit back, a little bit of reflection back in just to suit my taste. We're actually on 25 seconds now, just because I've dropped the f-stop down a little bit. So because I've closed the aperture, it's made everything darker. I'm on f14 now, 25 seconds, and that's looking really nice. I'm literally losing. I only set the tripod up a couple of seconds ago. We're already losing a good couple of foot. So the composition I'm looking at, I'll show you there. Got the lighthouse central, the island on the right, and that rock, which is a bit of annoyance. But that's what we're looking at. I think I'm gonna have to go into the water a little bit because I want the water to come around the left hand of the shot. not stop where it is. So I'll just move position and I'll get you back on. The light just isn't happening here at Penmon. Not in the right direction anyway. There's a nice band of red over there on the right, but on this direction there's not much. So what I'm doing is I'm just experimenting really. I've got the tripod really low down on the ground, and I've got the lighthouse in vertical there. The water's like, it just keeps going out further and further, so it's getting more difficult to get a composition. So I'll just play around really and just see if the light changes. I'm hoping that it just gets a little bit better and the light actually spreads around to the left hand side, because as it stands it's okay, and I think I've got a couple of decent shots already. But as the sun's coming up and up and up, I mean it was sunrise 5 minutes, I wish it was sunset, go to bloody bed. But yeah, it's the sunrise 5 minutes ago and it's looking a bit grim. So I'll keep in it, keep fighting to the end, and if we have any success with any future compositions, I'll put them on the screen now for you. So I've come round to the left hand side of the lighthouse. We've got the sun coming up over there blinding us, but I've got the lighthouse, the island, the sun, and then a little like it's like a buoy or something like on an island, and then the rocks in the foreground with the seaweed on. So I'm really loving this composition. I'll just show you on screen now exactly what I'm looking at. So as you can see, it's quite dark. It's quite an underexposed shot because of the sun. So I'm taking the shot underexposed and then I'm lightening it to 0 exposure on the meter, the one that the camera thinks is correct. I'm not going any higher than that. There's enough detail captured in the seaweed and the rocks at that level. It's more the one that's below that, the negative exposure. That's the one that I'm really interested in, because it's going to hopefully give me a little bit of a sun star, and then I can blend the two in Photoshop. But as you can see, I'm getting blinded by the light. It's shining me my really tired face up. I've just noticed that the side of the lighthouse is catching some really nice sun and light. So I'll just make my way down into the water. Might have to get a little bit Cal Photo 365 wet, and just get far out to the right hand side in the water just to capture the no passing landside sign with the light hitting it. I'm going to attempt that. If that comes off, I'll stick it on at the end. But I'd just like to say a thank you for joining me this week. I've just been really conscious about this other photographer, because she's planted herself in one spot and wouldn't move from that. But because she's so far back, I am in every shot probably. So I'll get in the water, take this shot. Thank you very much for watching. And if all's well, I'll catch you next week, same time, Sunday. Bye for now.